today on this great day here in Blue Island. I'd like to acknowledge some of our elected officials and special guests before we get started. From Blue Island, we got Alderman Rita, Alderman Osling, Alderman Hawley, Alderman Viera, Alderman Donahue, Alderman Poulos, Alderman Pittman, Alderman Bellato, Alderman Slattery, the Treasurer Bellato's here, Clerk Hauser, Deputy Chief of Police Mike Cornell, Fire Chief Jim Klinker, Park District Commissioners Ted Ruthenberg, William Ochoa, Rayanne Cantello-Zillman. We also have IDOT, who will be speaking, John Fortman from IDOT. We got Don Marchbanks from the Blue Island Emergency Management, Rosalind Priest from Calumet Township, Claudia Tripoli from Calumet Township, Angela Fonte from Calumet Township, Phil Lasky from Calumet Park. If I overlook someone, I'm sorry, bring the name up, we'll acknowledge you're here. 2 years ago, I stood on the other end of the bridge, and we said it was an important day for the city of Blue Island, and we said that there's some light at the end of the tunnel. That's when we were announcing that we had the funds to do the reconstruction of the bridge. If you remember last fall, we stood a few feet away from here, and again, I said it was an important day for the city of Blue Island, and the light at the end of the tunnel was getting a little brighter. And that was the day we announced the starting of the construction. Today we stand here to tell you it's another important day. And not only is it an important day, it's probably the most important day. Today we're at the end of that long tunnel, and today the light is shining. Today we are going to announce the opening of the Division Street Bridge. We all know the problems and issues this has caused by this being closed a few years back. I believe it was back in 2010 when the bridge was closed, and the issues we faced here in the city of Blue Island, and the importance of getting this bridge back up and running for traffic, for residents, for people coming through the city. We were told it was too expensive to fix. We were told for many years that we were working on it. But it wasn't until in 2013 when we got a letter from IDOT saying that there was no application on file to apply for the federal funding and the state funding to give to the city of Blue Island. In 2013, we sat down with IDOT, we sat down with the local officials, the aldermen, the new Mayor Vargas, and we put together a plan and a timeline. And on that timeline, summer of 2016 was announced of the opening of the bridge, and we were here summer of 2016, right on time to open this bridge. So I'm going to turn it over. We got a few speakers. I know it's warm out and we're all excited to get this open, but I believe it's important that this project was done by everybody working together, from the federal government all the way down to the local government, with all kind of agencies in between. It was a very complex project to receive the funding and to get to this point. So I think it's important that we hear from a number of the people that played a part in us being here today. I'd like to start off and turn it over to District 1 Engineer John Fortman from the Illinois Department of Transportation. District 1 consists of the 6 counties. He's the head engineer over all the roads and everything it does with the Illinois Department of Transportation, and who was very instrumental in helping us get here today. So John, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Representative Rita. It is my pleasure to be here today to talk to you about this project. Boy, it sure is nice. This meeting is going on better than the first meeting with Representative Rita on this project. Just kidding. But 2014 in early, like late winter, January, we met to talk about how we could proceed. And fortunately, we were able to secure funding and get this project completed. And it's a testament to the representative, the mayor, and the city of Blue Island. They got through the process. We met to go through the phase 1 design process, got through that, put it out to bid. Last year we had the groundbreaking, and today it's completed. Our involvement in this is we help the municipalities through the local agency process and help with the oversight. The city was fantastic. So congratulations to the city of Blue Island and to all of you. This project couldn't have been done without fabulous partnership with your city and folks from my staff. Thank you.
Thank you, John. He's pretty honest when he says he played a major part in keeping this on track. And when you're dealing with the different types of construction, and as I mentioned before, he's over 6 counties. And when you look at all the different bridges throughout the counties that we got him here to come to the city of Blue Island, and he heard and understood the importance of this local bridge that's owned by the city, not by the state. And he sat down with all the partners and helped put everybody on that timeline and kept it together. He did a great job of doing that. Thanks, John. Next, we're going to hear from Lochner Engineering, who will explain a little bit what went on here. The engineer who was in charge of this project. Come on up from Lochner Engineering.
Good evening, everybody, and it is a good evening. I just want to first, on behalf of Lochner, I'd like to thank the City of Blue Island for giving us the opportunity to have a small part in this project. It's a great project. We're really proud of it. Now, I've been an engineer for 40 years. I started when I was 8 years old. I've been through this process a number of times. And I can tell you, without a champion leading a project like this through the process that John was just talking about, and without the perseverance of the city staff, we wouldn't be here today. These projects, with all the abundance of projects that the infrastructure just keeps falling apart in the state, and without the dwindling funds that we have available, it takes a political champion to push projects like this, and it takes perseverance of the staff to go ahead and get through the process. So I congratulate you. It's great. Now, I'm with Lochner. And I'd love to stand up here and say that I take some credit for this project, but I had absolutely not much to do with it at all. I want to point out a couple of people. We were responsible for the design and the construction engineering on this project. And Brad Nowak here, he was the lead design engineer on this project. And Paul Harris behind him was the lead construction engineer on this project. Project went smoothly, mainly because all the cooperation we had and the day-to-day operations with the city staff. So I just want to mention, say Mayor Vargas, again, we really appreciate it. John Rita, Carmen Bellato, Randy Heiser, Matt Anastasia, Rob Holt, all the city staff. I only mentioned a few that we dealt with regularly, but we appreciate it. It really went well. Now, Brad's job as the lead design engineer was a little bit of a challenge. As you know, this bridge was closed back in 2010, and it was mainly due to drainage, stormwater that would leach through the deck, and it corroded the structural members of this bridge to the point where we couldn't have a car or anything go over it. So Brad's job was to come up with an efficient design, one that's low maintenance, and one that we could get done and have an opening within a year. So sure enough, within 11 months we did that. So this is a project now that Brad was able to go ahead and get designed. We changed some design parameters on it. We hope with a minimum amount of maintenance, but timely and proper maintenance, that this job will never close. This bridge won't ever close again for you, so it'll serve everybody. Now, I mentioned Brad and Paul, but really neither one of them did the actual work. The real work was done by the contractor, the prime contractor, Kenny Construction. And I've known Kenny over 40 years. Worked with them on a number of projects, excellent prime contractor. I'm sure this project is going to serve the people of Blue Island very well. We appreciate the cooperation with Kenny. Thank you very much. It was a privilege. Now with that, I'll turn it back over.
You know what? Let's hear it for those that worked on this project that we provided a job to. Kenny Construction. If I'm not mistaken, we used every different trade. A number of different trades were involved in this construction project, all union-built construction, correct? Right. Yeah. Almost every trade was involved in here? Next, I'd like to bring up, and I got a call today from Congressman Bobby Rush, who wanted to come out here today, and he was on his way out, and he was delayed, and he didn't want us to keep the bridge delayed for him to get out here, because he wanted to come celebrate, because it was mentioned on some of these funds. The funds that were made available, 80% of the funds came from a combination of the federal government, the federal budget, the state budget, and then 20% came from a local match from the city of Blue Island. But I'd like to call up Raman Gage from U.S. Congressman Bobby Rush's office just to say a few words and thank her for Congressman Rush's leadership in help providing funds to the city of Blue Island.
Good evening, and thank you so much. On behalf of Congressman Rush, I just want to let you know how happy I am to be here representing him at really such an exciting moment as this. The historic Division Street Bridge is one that I know for the community means a whole lot. And so many congratulations go to the State Representative Bob Rita, Mayor Vargas, and the Blue Island officials, Mr. John Fordman and IDOT and other colleagues and engineers for a job well done. But most of all, congratulations to the residents of the city of Blue Island. Your long suffering and your many years of inconvenience have finally paid off. After 5 long years, you got your bridge back. This important and successful restoration project is a perfect example of the way federal dollars should be spent. By providing funding through the Federal Highway Bridge Program, deficient and unsafe bridges get the structural attention they need for critical repairs and upgrades. Restoration of the Division Street Bridge is a win-win. It's a win-win for Blue Island's public safety, as emergency responders have quicker access to all the areas of the city. And it's a win-win for Blue Island's economy because residents and those who travel through the city can access local businesses with greater ease. And it's also a win-win for Blue Island motorists, who now, in addition to the Ashland Avenue Bridge, have another way to move around through the city, lowering the chance for traffic congestion. Standing at the southern entry point of this beautiful truss bridge has made me think about the symbolism associated with bridges. Often people view bridges as a way to connect people and communities, or as a way to reach a destination, or as a euphemism for overcoming obstacles. But my perfect and most favorite bridge symbol is that of hope. If you can just get over that bridge, you may find yourself in a better place on the other side. The Division Street Bridge crossing over the beautiful Calsac Channel in the heart of the city is a beautiful representation of all those things. So again, thank you for the invitation and congratulations.
Thank you, Robin. I do want to put a note, let you guys know, a few years back when the hospital was about to close, this isn't the first time Bobby Rush, Congressman Rush, has come to Blue Island to help us. He was very instrumental in the lead of saving that hospital. You're going to hear a little bit later about the public safety part of this, but if you look here, we got a fire department on one side, we got the hospital on the other side, in the importance of the public safety part. But next I'd like to have our mayor of the city of Blue Island, who worked with us, who made this possible today, Mayor Vargas.
Good afternoon, Blue Island. What a beautiful and historic afternoon. Or am I wrong? It's been a long time coming. When we stood on this side and also on the other side a couple months ago, I mentioned the word Division Street Bridge. It was a bridge that was dividing our city. But guess what? That Division Bridge has united us. It has brought us together. We're a city again whole. Correct? I want to thank not only all the elected officials, but all of you for being so patient with us. Again, we were aggressive, and from my heart, I want to thank Representative Bob Rita again. If it wasn't for him and his staff and everybody else working so hard, we wouldn't be here this afternoon with this celebration. So let's hear it for Bob. Approximately 3 years ago, I was elected along with the rest of the staff here as the mayor of the city of Blue Island. When Randy, Carmine, and myself and some of the aldermen were going around in this area, not only in this area, but in the whole city of Blue Island, this was the number one issue on the table. The number one issue, when are you going to get that bridge open? And it was a commitment from this administration, and personally from myself, and the top elected officials, that we were going to do our darnest to get it open. Again, with the assistance of our state rep, and everyone working together. And I repeat that, everyone working together. We did it. So let's give all of us a big round of applause. Again, I want to thank the City Council for approving what needed to be approved for the engineering, the contract. Again, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. For our state rep, for getting the funding and putting the pressure on Washington and the state, we wouldn't be here. And for all my staff, our staff, your employees, for working diligently, making sure we were on time, I want to thank them personally. While for some of you, it might appear to be a short period of time once they started construction, but it took a long time to get us here. A lot of long nights to get us here, and a lot of money. And I'm going to request from each and one of you a favor. A lot of money has been invested on this bridge, and I need your eyes and ears to make sure that bridge doesn't get vandalized. Do I have your commitment? Yes. I can't hear you. Do I have your commitment? Yes. One of our things in this administration, and as you can see from the Division Street Bridge to the Chatham Street Bridge, will be opening very shortly. So we'll be back here, but over there, with another grand opening, is to paint the bridges blue. Blue Island blue. Okay? Eventually, we'll try to get from the Ashland Bridge all the way to the Kedzie Avenue Bridge to be painted all of them blue, including the Metro ones. And that's been a dream of mine, and from this administration, that if you're flying above, either through Southwest or some other company, either through Midway, you look down, it says, there's the bridges of Blue Island. The blue bridges of Blue Island, correct? Yeah. We have a lot to be thankful in this city. Not only for its residents, its people, the people who work for it, the people who live here. And I'm humbled and honored to be your mayor. So again, this was a major, major achievement for all of us. Not only for myself, not only for the elected officials, but for all of us. We move on from here. And as you've seen, and we've gotten some complaints about all the construction going on in Blue Island, but guess what? I'll take it. We'll take it. Examples. The development at 127th and Vincennes. The Thornton's gas station. Birdsall, Lewis, and Cochran Street resurfacing. Okay? The rain gardens the commencement of the rain gardens projects on the north side in the 7th Ward to prevent flooding, and we're going to continue expanding that with relief sewers. The John D. Rita Recreational Center rehab, major improvement for the community. Again, another plus for the community. The Western Avenue Bridge Business District streetscape, which is in progress as we speak. The 123rd Place reconstruction of that street in front of Paul Revere. Completion of the Chatham Bridge, which helps us finish the trail, which is the bridge right next to us. The CalSAC Trail, by this time next year, should be completed, including Blue Island, all the way to the lake. And even though we have something to say with this, I'll take the complaints now. Vermont Street intersection by the Vermont Street train station to be closed, but it needs to be done. Correct? Or am I wrong? It needs to be done. So that's the next thing. That's why it was critical that they held off on that so that we can get this bridge open, and now we have this open. But one of the vital things that was mentioned already, the Firehouse Station 2 here, to get people to the hospital, to get emergency equipment, both police and fire, Marine, as soon as possible to where it's needed. And again, that was a major push for this administration to get that open. Here's another one. The Western Avenue Bridge rehab. They're not going to close it all, but they're going to work on it little by little. That's all going to be redone starting this fall. And again, I want to thank everyone. A lot of construction happening in Blue Island. I'll take the criticism, the complaints now, because it's all for the benefit of all. Again, I want to thank everyone. Way to go, Blue Island.
Thank you, Mayor. We only have a few more speakers. I'm getting yelled at. Is my collar all right? We're going to hear from a couple aldermen that represent this. This is the boundary of the 2nd Ward in the city of Blue Island and the 3rd Ward. And I'd like to call up Fred Bellato, Alderman Bellato, and Alderman Vieira if they'd like to say a couple words.
Good afternoon. My name is Fred Bellato. I am the Alderman of the 2nd Ward, along with Alderman
Vieira, 2nd Ward.
Where you're standing at today, this is the 2nd Ward. The south side of Division Street Bridge is the 2nd Ward. The Chatham Street Bridge, both sides are the 2nd Ward. Pretty much everything south of the Calumet Sag is the 2nd Ward. And before I forget, I wanted to add to our mayor's list of accomplishments. In the 2nd Ward last fall, it wasn't completed till December, we had 3 streets repaved here from a State of Illinois grant from State Representative Bob Rita. Vine Street, Hoyne Street, and Chicago Street were all repaved last fall, completed in December. So we can add that to your list. This is a very historic day for the 2nd Ward. We haven't seen such a big construction project down here probably in 40, 50 years since they widened the CalSAG and built the bridges. But I want to point out again, as a few people have already pointed out, how close we are to the fire station and uniting that with the rest of the city. If people need services right across the bridge, or they need services down here and need to get to the hospital, the few minutes that it would take to go to another route might mean life and death to anybody needing those services. So this is on top of it, reopening a beautiful bridge for just convenience. This is for life and death in some scenarios. So that's a very big thing for the south side here, connecting us with the rest of the city. Ms. Alvier, do you want to have any?
I would just like to say, on behalf of all the aldermen in the city of Blue Island, as alderman here of the 2nd Ward, my sincere thanks to all of the residents on the 3rd and the 2nd Ward for their patience. Without your patience, we wouldn't be here where we're at. And thank you, Mayor, for everything you've done. State Representative Bob Rita. Thank you.
Again, I'd like to thank the state of Illinois, Lochner Engineering, Kenny Construction, the millions of dollars that went into this bridge. It wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the aggressiveness of the State Representative Bob Rita, Congressman Bobby Rush, my fellow councilmen that knew, even if they didn't live all the way on the north side of the city, that this was a priority for this administration to reopen us and unite us, as the mayor said, with the rest of the city of Blue Island. So again, I want to give my thanks to everybody that was involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Alderman Rita and Alderman Donahue.
Yay.
Hello, everybody. I believe that I have a speech here, but I'm going to wing it. I just wanted to say thank you, everyone, for your patience. I wanted to say thank you to IDOT and all the construction crew. I wanted to say thank you to the directors, Matt Anastasia, John Rita, and Rob Huff for your help, and all the councilmen and the finance committee. And a big thank you to my brother, Bob Rita. Thanks, Bob. I also would like to say that I think that my mom and dad, Johnny and Rosie, are smiling down at us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this great day. I want to take a moment just to thank everybody who made this project possible. State Representative Bob Rita, the Illinois Department of Transportation, Walker Engineering, Kenny Construction, Mayor Vargas, and the rest of my colleagues on the City Council. And most importantly, I want to thank you all here and the residents of Blue Island for being patient and understanding while we work to get to this point today. So thank you. Thank you so much. The Division Street Bridge is personal for me because I live right in the 3rd Ward on Union Street. And a lot of my constituents, we are cut off from this part of town and vice versa. They're cut off from us. Danny's Market lost some business because they couldn't get over there. Bob, I'm happy to say the bridge is open. I'm happy the residents. With the opening of this bridge, we're not only connecting Division Street, but we're connecting our neighborhood and our community. So thank you all, and thank you again.
Next, we'll hear, one of the basic services the city provides to its residents is public safety. And its ability to respond to emergencies to our residents. And I'd like to have Jim Klinker, the Blue Island Fire Chief, come on up and say a few words on behalf of the emergency responders for Blue Island. Chief?
Okay, I'm going to go on record and say I'm not a public speaker. I'm not a fan of it. All right, so bear with me. But when I was asked to do this, I almost felt compelled to do it. As you guys can see, that's our fire station number 2. That was built and opened back in 1967 to help protect people in this side of town. Everyone knows trains in Blue Island, am I right? Those trains that cut across Vermont Street kind of hampered things when the station was only up at Station 1. So this station's been fully operational since 1967. With the reopening of this bridge, this allows us to do a lot. What's really important with the fire department is getting places quickly. I mean, I think everyone can realize that. I'm going to go through a couple of things here, but when the bell goes off, these guys are back there hiding out of the way like firemen like to do because they don't like attention. Same thing with me. They get out quickly. They pride themselves in getting out that door as fast as they can. They're out, they're ready to go within less than a minute on calls. This bridge, when it was closed, obviously hampered us. We went around the long way. We had the other station respond to calls. Sometimes we had Cal Park call or take our calls. When the Ashland Bridge was closed for a month or whatever it was, a couple of years ago, we relied on Cal Park a lot to help us in that side of town. So back to what I was getting as far as time. Time is of the utmost in both medical and fire emergencies. I think that I saw a couple nurses here from the hospital. I think everyone here knows why the ambulance needs to get places quicker. Cardiac emergencies, allergic reactions, strokes, all that stuff's important for us to get to quickly. This bridge is going to allow us to get to places a whole lot quicker. I was trying to do like a comparison, really hard to do from stats from years ago, but we're looking at probably a savings of anywhere from 1 to 4 minutes in response times for these guys to get to that side of town, which is really key. So, as far as fires are concerned, just a real quick fact on fires, I looked at, you can Google this later, there's all kinds of numbers on the internet, but on average, we're looking at fire doubling in size about every two minutes. So if you have a 1-room fire, 2 minutes later you got a 2-room fire, 2 minutes later you have a 4-room fire, it just grows and grows and grows and grows. So it's very obvious that we need to get to that quicker so that we can get in and rescue people, so that we can put the fire out. And it also, another real big key thing for me and for these guys is it makes it safer for us. The quicker we get to things, the quicker we get water on it, the quicker we start to mitigate the situation, things kind of lighten up for us all, and the fire goes out, people get rescued, these guys go home safe. So I can't stress enough how much this bridge, someone said, we're here. This is really personal for us, okay? I mean, it really is. These guys, they'll be able to go out there tonight. The one thing that I want to make sure that they all know, since this bridge has been closed for 6 years, is to make sure that they look before they turn left when they go out of the car. Those cars are coming over the bridge. So, with that being said, I want to thank myself, the members of the fire department. Can't thank everyone, Representative Rita, Mayor Vargas, Representative Rush, anyone and everyone that had anything to do with getting this thing back open. Those guys back there in the red helmets, I was down here a lot in the wintertime. They were here in the freezing cold winter days working hard. So we really appreciate everything everyone's done to get this open. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. What he said to me yesterday, which really, really made sense. When he was talking about, it could go from 1 to 4 minutes, and that don't sound like a long time, but he said, Bob, what you don't understand, seconds saves lives. And you know what? When he said that, it was really for thinking about what them few minutes means to an individual. As you know, I live on 3 blocks on the other side. What if they were, coming to get me? So this is a great day, and a great day for Blue Island. So what we're going to do now, we're going to do a little ribbon cutting out in front. We're going to move some of the stuff, and then we're going to move the chairs, and then we're going to proceed to open the bridge and allow it open for traffic. So if you could bear with us just a little bit while we move some of the stuff, we'll do the ribbon cutting and open it up. And in closing, what was said here is when you're working together, which we all are working together, from our federal elected officials all the way down to our local officials, we get results. And today is a result of everybody working together. And the second part, promises were made and promises were kept. We made a promise we were going to open this bridge, and today we're here of opening it. So I want to thank everybody for coming out and all their hard work. Thank you.